All right. Good afternoon, everybody. So today I'm going to go over remaking the part that we did in our SolidWorks class this morning. And I'm going to start by putting in our global variables. So I'm going to come up here to our equations tab, and I'm going to click on that to open it up. And under global variables, I'm going to click in the box right there, and I'm going to type in quotation marks, capital A, quotation marks. I'm going to tab over and I'm going to type in 81 and hit enter. And then I'm going to rinse and repeat. Quotation marks B, quotation marks. I'm going to arrow over. I'm going to type in 57. And then I'm going to come down here to global variables and I am going to rinse and repeat. Quotation marks, capital C, quotation marks. And I'm going to type in 43. And hit enter, and then hit OK. And once that exits out, I'm ready to go. You'll notice down here at the bottom of my screen, I have MMGS already highlighted in there, so I don't need to make any changes to that right there. And I'm going to open my sketch in the front plane. So if I click on the front plane, it brings up the dialog box, and then I want to open a sketch. So I'll click that right there. And I am now ready to begin drawing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my circle drawing tool. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to put a circle right here at the origin. I'm just going to come out, drag out to the right. You can drag up, down, anywhere you want, but you're just going to drag that circle out. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to click there and then hit my green check mark, and I am going to dimension this circle to 14 millimeters in diameter. And hit enter. You'll notice that that circle turns black because it has a relation coincident to the origin, and I have dimensioned it in size to 14 millimeters. All right, so now I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit, and then I'm going to come over here to my global, or my apologies. I'm going to click on my line tool here, and I'm going to begin my sketch, and I'm just going to begin it roughly about where it looks like it should be in the blueprint that we have. And I'm going to click and drag out at an angle, and then click again, and then I'm going to go up approximately, let's see, 32 minus, that's what, 2518 roughly. And then I'm going to go out at an angle to about here, like so. And then I'm going to come out here roughly. It's a little bit longer, and I'm just rough sketching this out. I want to make sure that I don't have any relations. You can see here where I'm getting a horizontal relation to the midpoint of that slanted line over there, and if I drag out this way, I'm getting another relation that's popping up as perpendicular to a point. I don't want any added relations, so I want to drag off and make sure that there is nothing there. And I'm going to click right there, and then I need to do a radius, so I'm just going to drag out and then come over here about so. I just want to get close. It doesn't have to be exact again. So right about there. And then I'm just going to come out here. So we got to be about 24 roughly, about there. And then we're going to come out at an angle about there. And then I'm just going to continue to come down about like so. And I want to be, again, I don't want to get any relations out there that I don't need added to something, because when we go to dimension this, this can create a lot of problems for us if we're not careful. So right about there, and then I'm going to come over here like so, then add an angle. I'm going to add a radius here. Again, I don't want to get anything locked in, and then come out here, and I'm going to add another relation, and then I'm going to finish out my sketch, and it's going to turn everything kind of a grayish color. Now this is not exactly 100% correct. I would have preferred to draw on it more like the blueprint, but this will be close. It'll give us something to work on. So now I'm going to go into my Smart Dimension tool, and I'm going to start dimensioning based off of the blueprint that we were given. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to put a dimension here that is going to be 7 millimeters, like so. And then I want to do a angle. It's going to bring up the little 4 arrows there. I'm going to click down here, and I want that to be about 45. Like so. See how that changes everything. And then I need to dimension from here to here. I'm going to come over here. We're going to make that about 14. We're going to get everything locked into place that needs to get locked in. Click on that line and this line. I'm going to do the same thing. 14. So now I have most of my dimensions in here, and you'll see that my lines are starting to turn black as a result, which is exactly what we want. So now I need to do some other ones, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a dimension here of an angle. So 45 right there, and then we need to be approximately, well, not approximately, 7 millimeters. So we're going to make that 7 millimeters, like so. That kind of starts locking everything out, doesn't it? Then we need to dimension from here to here. We're going to make that 32. And you'll see that by, trying to stay pretty close to the dimensions when we started drawing this, it's really helping. We're not having to make a lot of wild changes, which helps. So that's going to be 14, like so. And then I'm going to find and dimension that. Going to bring up our arrow. I'm going to make that 10 millimeters or 10 degrees, like so. All right, and then I need to dimension this, which is going to be 19, like so. All right, so now we got a few more things that we have to add in here. And one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dimension this right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my equal sign, which brings up my global variables, and we're going to bring that in as A. And I can hit my green check mark and then hit the green check mark, and you'll see that it puts an E next to my dimension there. That lets me know that that is a global variable. All right, so right now I'm going to do a few other dimensions before I get too far into this. Like here and here needs to be 19 millimeters. So that's going to change a little bit of my sketch, but not too much, not too much. And we will do this one here, make that about 29. I'm going a little bit out of order, but it should save us a little bit of problem later on when we get into the rest of this. So now I need to, oh, didn't mean to do that. All right, let me get rid of that. All right, let's try that again. One more again. Click and click. I'm going to bring that out here. Wait for my dialog. I'm going to make that equal, and I'm going to click B. Hit my green check mark. Hit my green check mark, and that starts kind of locking in a lot of stuff that we need so we can finish up what we are doing. So while I'm in here, now I am going to dimension from here to here, and I'm going to make that 29. And then I'm going to just zoom in here. I'm going to click on my endpoint. I'm going to click on this line and my arrow, and I want to dimension that at 45. Now I already have, you'll see right there, it gave me, it's letting me know that this line is parallel to something. It's got that relation right there. So I'm going to get rid of that relation because I don't want that in there. It can screw up my drawing a little bit later on. But now, and I am going to get rid of this dimension. I can change it because I want to get rid of it. There we go. All right, so now let's try that again. And we'll do here and right there. So now it doesn't give us that error, 45. And then all we got to do now is dimension from here to here. And that's going to be 5 millimeters once it pops up, like so. All right, we're cooking with gasoline because all this stuff is coming into play right now. So we click here, we add a dimension of 24. Right there. All right, look at that. Looky there. All right, so now I am going to click out of my dimension tab here, and I'm going to click on the center point of this radius, and I am going to hold Control, and I'm going to click on this line, and I'm going to make that coincident. Now it's going to change my drawing just a little bit. It acted a little bit funny. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension this, and I'm going to make this 5 because that's what it's supposed to be. And you'll see that it changed everything up on us just a little bit, which is fine. And we're going to go ahead and change some of this over. I'm just dragging. Oh, see, I have a coincident for there, and I have a tangent. So I'm going to get rid of that tangent right there. And now I can draw this over to kind of fix some of what I got going on here, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this arc and that line are going to be tangent. Oops. We'll undo that for just a second. All right. So go back in here, and now what I want to do is I want to dimension this to 29. And then I'm going to dimension from my center point to here, and that's going to be 19 once it pops up, like so. All right, so right now I should be able to clear out of here, and we can start making some other changes here. All right, so now we're getting pretty close to being done. All I got to do is click on that radius and this one right here and add a tangent to that and hit my green check mark, and you will see that my sketch is fully defined down here at the bottom. Everything kind of looks the way we need it to be. So we are ready to extrude this. So as I go to extrude this, I'm going to click on the Features tab right here, and I am going to do an extruded boss base. I'm going to click on that right there, and it's going to bring up a window. I don't like the direction that it is extruding it to, so I'm going to hit the double arrows here to bring it away from me. And then here I'm going to highlight that and then hit equal, which brings up my global variables, and I want to make that C. I can hit my check mark, and it extrudes my part out exactly the way I wanted it. So our first part is now complete, and what we are going to do is apply some material, and the material that we have is going to be, I'm going to click on this, right click, and do edit material, and I want to do AISI 1020. That is the closest to what it calls for as far as mass density, and I want to click apply, and then I can close, and then I can go to evaluate, and I can go to mass properties, and I can look at this to make sure that the mass equals one of the four uh, values given in our blueprint for that correct answer. And 939.54 grams is an exact match for what we want. If you have anything other than that, you would want to go back and look at your sketch to make sure that you don't have something out of whack. So now what I'm going to do is, if you look up here, it says part 1, and it's got an asterisk next to it. That just means that it's not been saved yet. So we're going to go ahead and save it, and I'm going to hit the save icon right here. It's going to bring up a window. I'm going to save this to my desktop, and I am going to say that this is question 1, because this is question 1 of the part that we are currently doing. So I'm going to hit save, and it will be saved to my desktop for me to go back to. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the save icon again, and I'm going to click on the drop down menu, and I want to save as, and I'm going to save this as question 2. So we still have question 1 part. It's off to the side on the desktop, and we can start making changes to this part because it's been saved as something different. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to the next blueprint page that calls for what the global variables are for that. And once I get there, I'm going to go back to my sketch tab, and I'm going to go to the equations tab, and I need to make changes. So the first change is going to be an A, and I'm going to change that to 84. I hit enter, and then I'm going to change this one to 59. I hit enter, and then the third one is going to be 45, and I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to click on OK, and I am now ready to start making changes according to the next blueprint. All right, so we have a few things that we have to do on this one right now. We've got 2 cutouts, well, 3 cutouts technically, that we are going to do, 4 cutouts that we're going to do on here. So in order to do those, what I am going to do is I'm going to click on the front face of my part here, and I'm going to open a sketch. And then because it did not bring it up to normal 2 for me, I can click on the space bar and then find this icon that says normal 2, and I'm going to click on that, and it will bring up what I need to do here. So I'm good to go now. I have a sketch open, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start converting some lines on this part to geometry to make my job easier to do this cutout. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on convert entities, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to start clicking on all the lines that I need to convert to an entity. I have everything done. I can click OK, and everything is done there. Now the only thing I have to do is add a few lines. So I'm going to do a line right here. I'm going to make sure that it is vertical and it has a coincident relation to this bottom line, and I'm going to click OK, and then I'll right click and hit select, And then I'll come back up here to my line drawing tool again, and I'm going to click on the end of the radius right here, and I'm going to come all the way over here, and I have a horizontal line, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there and right click, and voila, I'm almost done. So the only thing I need to do is dimension. So I'm going to dimension this line from the edge, which is going to be 52 millimeters, like so. I can exit out now, and then I can go to my trim entities. I have trim closest to, so first thing is I'm going to get rid of that hanger that was right here. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to get rid of this one. As soon as I get rid of that one, you see how it grayed all of that in right there. That's exactly what I was looking for. And then I have one more line to get rid of right there. So once I got that one done, then that one grayed out. It means that I have an enclosed sketch and I am ready to move on to the next thing. So now I'm going to click on the Features tab, and I'm going to do an extrude cut. And I'll zoom out and rotate my part here. So I'm going to extrude it blind from my sketch plane. And here I'm going to type in 19 millimeters because that's what the blueprint says. Now you'll see that it gives me a preview of what's going to get cut. That looks right. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the green check mark. And now I have two features cut in there. Now I don't want to have to keep looking at those sketches from there. So if I open up that cut extrude, I click on my sketch here, and it brings up a dialog box, and I want to click on the eyeball, and I'm going to do that twice because it will hide that drawing so I don't have to look at it. All right, now we have to draw in a circle and do an extrude cut. So I'm going to click on this face right here, and I'll right click, and that brings up a dialog box for me to open another sketch. And it did not bring it normal to, so I'm going to bring the view normal to what I was doing, and then go up to my circle drawing tool, and I'm just going to throw a circle in here. It doesn't matter where I put it. I'm just going to put it on the face, and then I'm going to go into the smart dimension, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to dimension that at 11 millimeters. And then I need to dimension this circle from the top at 14 millimeters once it comes up. And then I need to dimension it again from here to 14 millimeters, like so. Everything blacked out. I have a fully defined sketch, and that means that I am now ready to do another extrude cut. And we're going to go to the Features tab. I'm going to go to Extruded Cut. It's going to bring it up. Now I'm going to do this one through all instead of blind. That way I don't have to type in anything. It knows to bring it all the way through the surface, and I'm going to hit my green check mark, and now I have a hole all the way through. So the last thing that we need to do is cut out this center part in here for that little cutout on our part. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate this around, and I'm going to draw this from the back side of the part. I'll click on the face. I'll click on the sketch here to open it up like so. Hit my space bar, bring this up normal too. And now I am almost ready to go. So the first few things that I'm going to do as we're doing this, I am going to bring this down so I can look at this a little bit better. I have a few things to do. All right, so I want to convert some lines first. So I'm going to do the convert entities. Oops, didn't want to do that one. All right, so we're going to back up from there. I'm going to click off of this to where it's gray. Then I'm going to go back into convert entities, and I'm going to convert this radius, this line, that line, and that line to a sketch entity, and I'll hit my green check mark. And then I can do a 3-point arc. Now, earlier today when I did this with a circle, but we can go to a center point arc. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the center point of my arc right about here. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click on this line, and then I'm going to click over here to where it's coincident on that line, and then I'm going to hit my green check mark. So now what I need to do is I need to dimension this arc, and there's a few things that I can do here. So I can click on this line here, and I can click on, oops, I need to be in Smart Dimension. So click on this line and that endpoint right there, and I can bring that out and make that 36. You see how that kind of moves that around. And then I can dimension my arc here, and I'm going to make that 41. And that's now 41 for a radius. Now the only thing that I need to do is click on the center point of this arc in this line right here, and I'm going to make those coincident to each other. Just means that they're in line. Hit my green check mark, and now everything is locked in where I need it to be. All I have to do is trim out some entities. So I'm going to trim out this line right here, and I'm going to trim out that line right there, which brings me to a fully enclosed sketch. It is fully defined down here at the bottom, and that means that we are now ready to extrude it. So that's what we're going to do. So according to our blueprint here, this is going to be an extrude cut. So I will go to extruded cut, and where it says from instead of sketch plane, I'm going to say offset, and I'm going to say it's offset by 12 millimeters, and I'm going to hit enter. Now you see that it extended it out the wrong way, so I'm going to hit my little double arrows right here, and you'll see that it brings it inside of the part. And I need to be blind on this one. I can't be through all. And then for the dimension, for how much I'm going to cut out, I'm going to make that 24 millimeters. And I'm going to hit enter. And that looks good. And I can hit my green check mark. And now I have everything done that needed to be done. So here on that sketch, I want to hide that sketch because I don't want to keep looking at it. And I have everything done for the second part of our problem. So I am just going to bring this normal to the front plane right here. I'm going to go ahead and save it because we are on question 2. Make sure that that's saved. I still have my material done on here, and I can come over here and I can take a look and do mass properties, and I can look to see what the mass is equal to. Now in the test, from the first question that we did, you're going to get 4 choices to choose from. From there on out, for every change that we do to that part, all you're going to be allowed to do is enter the value as it appears right here into a dialog box. So it's not going to give you multiple choice in there. You just got to put it in, and as long as you're within 1% of the proper mass value, you will get it correct. All right, so this is done. We're going to move on to question 3. So I'm going to click my dialog box here, and I'm going to put save as. And I'm going to make it now question 3. And I'm going to hit enter. And it's now saved it as question 3. So I am almost ready to start making some changes here. Let's find out what the next values are. So now we have to change some of our global variables again. So I'm going to come back over here, and now A is going to be 86. And then B is going to be 58. Hit enter, and then I'm going to double click here, and this is going to be 44. And I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to look at the next thing that I have to change here. So luckily we're back in the front plane for all the changes that we need to do, and this should be relatively easy for us to accomplish. So what I'm going to wind up doing here is I'm going to click on this face right here, and I am going to open a sketch, because this is where we're actually going to be drawing at. Then I'm going to click on the Offset Entities button. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to start selecting my lines, and I want it to be offset by 1 millimeter. So I got that first one, and then I'm going to click the second one, and then I'm going to click my third one, my fourth one, my fifth one. And I usually have some problems here where it doesn't want to take it. Well, ooh, look at that, man. We are doing so good. And let's see if it'll give us on this fourth one here. Yep, it did. Holy cow. Maybe I should buy a lottery ticket. There we go. Look at there. It gave us everything we wanted first time around. How can you get so lucky? I am definitely going to buy a lottery ticket on the way home tonight. All right, so now you want to hit your green check mark right there. We have a fully defined sketch. Everything in there is what we are going to extrude cut on. All right, so go to the Features tab, click on Extrude Cut. All right, so we're not going to offset anything. So we're going to go from the sketch plane, but in the direction, instead of going blind or doing it blind, we are going to offset from a surface. And then you'll see that dialog box here, this one shades in the purplish pink one right here. So I'm going to click on this back face right here that turns pink, turns the same color as that one right there, and it says face 1. And then I'm going to change how far to 1 millimeter. And that looks about right. That looks what I'm looking for. So I will hit my green check mark. Now it's done my extruded cut. I can look in here, and that's looking pretty good. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So I think we're doing pretty good so far. All right. Now, I'm going to open up another sketch box, and I'm going to click on this face right here. Then I'm going to open up a sketch. Then I'm going to hit my space bar. I'm going to make that view normal too. And then I'm just going to click off of that. Now, if you remember during class, I showed you how to make this to where it shows visible and hidden lines. So where it says display style, click the drop down and then come down to the fourth box down where it says hidden lines are visible and click on that. And it makes everything that's hidden visible, but not very well. Like you may not be able to see it very well on my computer because of that, but it's right there. So what I am going to do is I'm going to hit Offset Entities. It still says 1 millimeter, and I'm going to click on that line right there, and you'll see that it takes it in the direction that I want. And if I zoom in right here, you should be able to see rather lightly that there is a yellow arrow right there, and it's pointing in the direction that I want. So I'm going to hit my green check mark, which is good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Convert Entities. So now I'm just going to go through and start clicking on the lines that I want to convert into sketch entities, like so. I've got everything selected. I'll hit my green check mark, and then I can come in here to my Trim Entities tool, click on that, trim to closest. I'm going to trim that out. I will trim that out, and I'm going to trim that out and that out. And as soon as I do, it grays out my sketch here. It lets me know that everything is ready to go. I can go ahead and do an extrude cut on that. So I'm going to go back to my features tab. I'm going to go to extrude cut. It's asking me I'm offset from a surface, so I have to pick a surface that I'm going to offset from. So I'm going to click this back one. I don't have to change back, but if it makes it easier for you, you can. So I'm going to click on that one. And here, I'm going to make it 12 millimeters because I don't need to go all the way down in there. And what it will do, if I come back in here to my normal view, right there, and I may need to select the contours that I want to do. So right there, selected contours. I gave it the sketch. That looks to be what we want right there for our extruded cut. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the green check mark, do my cut. Let me hide that sketch. And we are done. We have gone through the whole part. There's nothing left for us to change in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my front plane. I'm going to hit normal 2 so it brings it back over here. And I'm going to save this for question 3. Save it one more time just to make sure that it's saved because I'm a little neurotic about that. And we're done. So if you have any questions, you can bring them up in class to me tomorrow, or you can message me, email me, and ask what you want, and I will answer them for you. Or you can reply to in the comment section under the video and ask any questions you have. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I didn't go too fast, but then again, the power of video means that you can pause where you get stuck and back up and look to see what I'm doing, okay? All right, hope you guys enjoyed. I will talk to you later.